What is good, YouTube? It's your boy Rennie back with another YouTube video. And shit, your boy looking proper though, you know what I'm saying? Okay. And you guys are probably wondering, yo, why the fuck are you dressed like this? On a hot ass summer day, if anything, because look, it's fucking, I'm not even gonna show you. Bro, y'all already know it's hot. Wherever the fuck you are in the United States, you know it's hot. It's hot today in general. It's fucking like 95, 100, it feels like 105 degrees, you know what I'm saying? But you guys are probably like, yo, why the fuck are you dressing like this? Because it's a special occasion, guys. I'm back. You know what I'm saying? Like, no? Alright, whatever. Anyways, so I want to dress up proper, you know, as like a little, I took a little month break, quote unquote month break. In reality, I've just been fucking working and busting my ass off. But anyways, so I wanted to come back and be like, you know, hey, I'm gonna start uploading videos again. Part of the reason why I was gone is because one, yeah, like I said, I've been working and busting my ass off in my job. But two, I kind of felt like sort of like a creative drought in a way. And I kind of just like, I guess maybe lost some motivation with uploading, but I also kind of didn't know what to make for videos. So I kind of wanted to go back to the drawing board and kind of just like see like what videos do I want to make next? Like what do I want to talk about next and stuff like that. So that's what I did. You know, for this past month, I've really just been working and focusing on myself and kind of going back to the drawing board and be like, okay, like, you know, this sounds like a good idea. This sounds like a good idea. And then kind of just make a list for myself. So that way it's easier instead of just like brainstorming what to make next for video. Cause then it's just gonna take fucking forever. So now I have a list of videos I want to make. And you know, so you guys will be seeing uploads from me eventually. Now granted, all these videos, you know me, I don't be making the same type of content all the time, whatever. Like I kind of make just kind of like whatever I want to fucking do. So anyways, this video is actually about how working in wastewater has currently changed my life for the better, and you know, changing just like the trajectory of my life and stuff like that. Hopefully you don't hear my fan in the background. I'm sorry, yo, I don't have AC down here, bro. I live in the basement. I know it's cool down here, but I don't got AC, so if you guys hear the fan, hey, fuck it. yeah, come on, bro. Y'all gotta understand. I gotta stay cool somehow down here. Anyway, so I want to talk about wastewater, and I did talk about this job previously. I made a video titled going from a white collar job to blue collar and what's changed, whatever, this and that. I kind of briefly spoke about my job there, but here I kind of wanted to say or talk about like how wastewater, the career and the job in general, like how it's changed my life and like where I am now, where I'm going to be going and stuff like that. So I have my notes on my right monitor here. I have my main monitor here, my right monitor here. I usually have it on my phone. My phone is charging because I have an iPhone 11. It's a piece of shit. We're not going to talk about it. But anyways, so the first thing I wanted to talk about was what made me decide to choose wastewater and the day I chose wastewater. So let's go back a little bit. Let's rewind time back to like, I'd say like February this year. So I was working in security. I was working overnight security. And I was working in security just to get by with work. And it was just to get by and kind of just see like, all right, like what's next? Like, what am I going to do next with my life? Because I was unemployed and I was looking for work for a really long time. I wanted to go back to work to the office. Funny enough, excuse me. I wanted to go back to work to the office, and you guys know the current economy. Current economy sucks. So I was trying to look for office jobs. I was trying to look for anything just to get back into, you know, anything similar to my line of work and what I used to do. And I just couldn't find anything. So I'm like, you know what? I'm choosing survival moving forward. I'm choosing survival. I'm choosing stability. And I just don't ever want to be fired, you know, for something, you know, getting laid off and stuff like that. I just want a really stable job. I want, you know, the ability to work different shifts. I want something safe. I want something to just hold me down, you know what I'm saying? And I want a long-term career with a good career ladder, stuff like that. So eventually I kind of just like looked into jobs online. And funny enough, I mean, I'm not a big fan of AI. I'm not gonna lie, unless you really use it for like really specific things. But I kind of just Googled like, you know, certain jobs and kind of like, I guess I kind of just like Googled and looked online like jobs, and actually went on Reddit and like I asked people whatever. And I basically went, and the internet basically gave me a bunch of results, you know. So there was things like, you know, first of all, wastewater operator. It was being a boiler technician, working at a data center, working as a general plant operator, working as a forklift operator, and stuff like that. You know, I was mainly looking for careers with long-term potential a good ease of entry, you know, so that I don't have to come in with many certifications or none at all. I can be trained on the job, etc. And based on what I saw online and the feedback I got, you know, a very underrated field was wastewater. So I looked more into it and what it was essentially and stuff like that. And so I looked into it and was like, okay, you know, where, you know, the process of wastewater is processing water or bad water, aka sewage and septic water, storm water, whatever, cleaning it and putting it back into the nearest water source, you know, whether that be a river or, you know, river, pond, whatever. You know, it depends. It depends where you are and stuff like that. So, I didn't want to be as a boiler technician because I hate the heat. So I'm like, there's no way I'm gonna be surviving in that type of job long enough. And then the other jobs were higher barrier of entry. Like I couldn't just like start on the job and stuff like that. Maybe I could be wrong, but basically the only job that had the immediate potential, the immediate opening, was wastewater because they would take me in as nothing. Like I'm starting from nothing, and they'll train me on the job, and I get the certifications as I go, and so on and so forth. So I'm like, okay, you know what? I think wastewater might be the move, just because it's a blue collar career. There's pension, there's stability, there's long-term career investment, there's different shifts working. It basically had every single thing I was looking for. So I'm like, you know what? Let me research this role for like about a month. Let me look into this role. Let me look at YouTube. Let me look at Reddit. Let me look at any resources I can find online that talk about this job and really if it's something that I want to do. So that's what I did from February to March to a little bit into April. Mainly February to March is I really just took a month to research, and I'm not gonna say I was looking at stuff every single day. However, I was on a weekly basis looking into this job and looking into what it is, the type of work I'm going to be doing, what am I going to be dealing with, the pros and the cons, etc. And generally speaking, I'd say all the pros for the job outweighed the cons. You know, the cons mainly being like, oh, you know, it could be potentially dangerous in certain areas. The biggest thing is the smell, and also like, you know, working with dirty water and you're literally working with poop. You know, I always make a joke like I'm working at the poop factory. I mean, that's basically what it is. Not sugarcoating shit. But you know, like I said, I'm choosing survival. I'm choosing stability, and that's really the main thing that pointed me to go back into, or go into a whole new line of work. Mind you, I have a degree, but I realized that in this life, you know, this life is short, and I'm not gonna be stuck doing something that I don't want to do. Because I think I mentioned in my previous video, but the office work for me was just so fucking draining. Like, don't get me wrong. The day is long today, like today it's hot and stuff like that. But you know, even then I wasn't working a lot today in the heat. But I just could not see myself doing, you know, office work for the rest of my life. Unfortunately, I did have a job that I did like from my degree, but it was just so hard to get back into it. And, you know, I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to sit around and wait for an opportunity to just come and save me. Nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's coming to save me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm hopping on a different path. You know what? It is what it is. I'm 25 years old. I was 25 years old at the time. I'm like, you know what? I'm still young. I don't care. I'm starting brand new, fresh, and I'm going to see what it's about. So for a lot of, and it's crazy because, all right, so like the next thing I was going to talk to you guys about, is kind of like my reaction from my friends and family. I generally didn't tell anybody about this next move. It wasn't until I was going to apply that I kind of told my friends that I was thinking about jumping into blue collar, and just like, I didn't say what job, but just blue collar in general. And then, you know, as it kind of came forward, like, I was like, you know what, I'm looking into this industry because of stability and blah, blah, blah. And it's everything I'm looking for, whatever. And my friends were very supportive, thankfully. You know, obviously I'm doing this for me, but, you know, I just told my friends how frustrated I was from white collar work and how I couldn't find anything. And I hate how unstable it is and how in the next few years, potentially with AI, my job might be gone. I don't want to deal with that. So I'm starting over. You know what? It is what it is. I'll take the lower pay, but as long as I can climb up the totem pole and eventually get to where I was, that's what it is. You know, so, and my friends applauded me. My friends and family and coworkers, and previous coworkers and acquaintances, they applauded me for taking initiative, for taking control of my life. Honestly, because like I said, nobody's coming to save you. If you're not content, if you're not happy with something in your life, you're the one that has to change it. You're in control of your own life. You know what I'm saying? Like, nobody else is in control of what you do. You know, so if you don't like where you're at in life, bro, change that shit. It doesn't matter. Like I always say too, as long as you're alive, you can start over. It literally doesn't matter. You can be 30, 40, 50, 60 and start over in life. Granted, as you get older, it is gonna get harder to start over and do these things, but it's still possible. As long as there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying? But if you're in your 20s and you don't have shit figured out, there's plenty of fucking time. I promise you, there's plenty of time to do things. There's plenty of time to figure yourself out. And there's nothing wrong with not knowing what you're doing, because I didn't know what I was doing the past 5 years of my life. I'm gonna be honest. From 20 to 25, I was kind of just in college and just getting by with school. And then once I finished school, I was like, okay, now I'm gonna get an office job. And I did get an office job, and then I got let go from that shit. I'm like, okay, so now what? And then, I thought I was gonna jump back into another job immediately. I was wrong. So, next I want to talk about, what the work actually is. So what I will say is that not every single day am I dealing with dirty type of work. Like I said, I mean, the plant generally, it does smell kind of weird. Certain parts of the plant smell better than others, whatever. But there's no every single day I'm like getting covered in shit and my hands are full of shit or whatever. Like, no, it's not like that every day. Every single day is different at my plant, at least. Every single day is different. We have a rotating schedule of operators, and essentially, I started off basically just tagging along with people and getting to know the plant. The main thing was actually getting to know the plant, because my plant is fucking huge. I'm not gonna say where I work, but my plant is pretty big in my state. So the main thing is just figuring out where everything was. And then after that, it was just learning how the machines work, learning the process. And I'm still learning all of these things. Like, I'm only 2 to 3 months into my line of work. Like, I'm still brand new. I'm a baby in this line of work. But, essentially, like, it's allowed me to have this stable income, and I love the security with the job. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm going to continue talking about, other such stuff. But basically, my line of work, I do different things every day. I could be actually doing actual wastewater stuff. I could be doing different hands-on projects, such as like doing like the landscaping, because my plant, we do our own landscaping. We don't hire contractors for those things. So for example, the first week of me working, I got to use a chainsaw for the first time. I felt like fucking Leatherface. I got to use certain tools, and I'm learning different tools and different machines and what they do. And I'm just generally just being a hands-on person, and I'm learning from the other operators and stuff like that. And just generally speaking, like, I'm not just walking around and I'm just not just like digging holes and I'm kind of just like just playing with shit and just like no, that's not what this job is. You know what I'm saying? So the thing is, it's just very hard to explain, because generally speaking, like, the main process of wastewater is, like I said, just cleaning the water with microorganisms, and then making sure that the whole process, making sure that everything works. In a sense, we're kind of preventative operators, because we're kind of there in case something goes bad and we need to know how to fix it, I guess, in a way. I mean, that's also not true, but I generally want to be a good operator, and that's what I'm trying to be. And I'm trying to learn this process, and I actually do like the process, and I like my line of work. But I did want to emphasize that, like, my job is like very different every day. I kind of can't really say like, yeah, this is my job. Like, my job, I'm just an operator, but in my job, we wear multiple hats. Like, we're not just operators. Like, we do a lot of hands-on stuff. We do a lot of different things every single day. So like one day I could actually be shoveling. I could be using a pickaxe. I could be using a jackhammer to fix something. And then other days, it'd be just doing nothing, And I'm not saying doing nothing as in actually sitting on my ass and doing nothing, but like, I could just be like, on standby, or I can, go pump scum, or, like go be in septage, etc. Like, I could just be doing a bunch of different hands-on things, or, stuff with the bar screens and raking and stuff like that. There's so much little hands-on stuff that I can do here and there. And some days are slower than others, and some days I'm doing a lot of hands-on work, especially when it rains. Like, I love the rain, but now I'm like kind of, I hope it rains when I'm not at work, because if it rains at work, if you work in wastewater, if you know. When it rains at work, it's a fucking shit show. You gotta go into storm flow, you gotta do all this shit, everything goes fucking haywire, something fucking breaks, you gotta stand by, and you gotta wait for something, what I'm saying? Like, it's fucking hectic, So I learned to not like the rain while I'm at work. However, I love the rain outside of work. I love sleeping to rain sounds. That's personal. That's it. That is a random fact of me. You know what I'm saying? I did not have to mention that. But I love rain when I'm home and when I'm cozy. And when I'm at work, I fucking hate that shit, because when it rains at my job, it's fucking hectic. So that's a whole different thing. But okay, so then the last thing I wanted to talk about is kind of just like, sorry, I'm looking at my notes right now. I found something that nobody else was looking for, or I'm doing the job that nobody wants to do. Like, we do a very big thing in the world. Like, we do a very big, important job, but like nobody really knows about wastewater, and nobody really, I guess, like respects it in a way. But the thing is that thanks to my job and what I learned, it's very important for the environment. It's very important for surrounding cities and towns to keep operating the way they do. You know, we're doing a very important service of taking all of the dirty waters, sewage and stuff like that. We're taking it in our plant, we're processing it, we're eliminating all this waste and stuff like that. And we're cleaning the water, we're giving it back to the environment, you know what I'm saying? We're making sure that the water is clean for the surrounding aquatic life. Making sure that, you know, if you are cleaning the water and you're putting it back, that obviously like everything is proper, you know, all the, you know, chemicals, like, you know, we chlorinate the water, we dechlorinate it, we make sure all that stuff is good. We make sure that everything is fine, so that literally the river and the aquatic life and the water, if it's used for recreational purposes or even drinking water, we need to make sure that's just at top shape. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We're cleaning the water. We have to make sure that the water is clean to protect the environment. And I think that's one of the reasons I love the job, is because I'm doing a very big thing for the environment. You know, like, yeah, the job might be dirty. Yeah, it might smell. Yeah, I might sweat a lot, especially now during the summertime. And, you know, some days are worse than others, but I love the work that I do. I love my coworkers. My coworkers are generally some of the coolest and funniest people I've ever met in my life, and they are very supportive, and they generally want to see me succeed. And especially me being a new person, I was afraid of coming into this environment and coming into this field because, you know, I mean, it's very nerve-wracking to start over, and then also start over in a new environment. You know, you don't know your coworkers, you don't know if they're gonna like you or not, you don't know if these guys are gonna be assholes, whatever. But the people that I work with are very nice guys. You know, they're very down to earth. They're very funny. They're very straight up about the job, and they're very straight up about what goes on around there. You know, every job has its good and bad. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not here to sugarcoat and say this is the perfect job. It's just like, no, like, you know, I'm saying this saved my life because it ultimately gave me something to support myself with. You know, like, I didn't have anything at the beginning of the year. Like, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be very, very vulnerable right now. But I didn't have a job. You know what I'm saying? I was looking for work. I couldn't find shit. And, you know, this job gave me something to hold on to. This job gave me something that I want to do for the rest of my life. And for the first time in my life, like I've told other people, is that I like my job. You know, that's the first time I say that, because I don't, you know, who likes working? Who the fuck likes working? At the end of the day, nobody likes working, right? But my job is something that I, at least, like, I like and I can tolerate to show up to and do it every day at my 100%. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing, you know, you don't have to like work, but I actually like my job. I actually like what I do. I actually look forward to work every day. And one of the biggest things that I like about my job is that it's different every day. You know, I hated the monotony of office work and how fucking, you know, the same routine every day and how nothing really changed. And I hated sitting still. Like, I have a gaming PC. I love gaming. Don't get me wrong, you know, but when I'm sitting in a computer all day in the office, and then when I come back home to fucking, you know, like sit here and play video games, like I don't even feel like playing video games because I'm just so fucking tired of staring at a screen all day. So, you know, another thing is, for me too personally, is like I'm also somewhat of a quote unquote lazy person, right? So having a physical job that forces me to move around, like it actually has made me more motivated to get in shape and move around. And like, you know, I realized that from my other jobs, it's just like I'm a hands-on person. Like, I have to be doing something with my body. I can't be sitting still. You know, I don't know if that's ADHD. I don't know if that's OCD. I don't know. That could just be me. You know, I'm not gonna self-diagnose myself, but I hate standing still with work. I have to be doing something stimulating. I have to be moving. I have to be doing something. You know, I hate standing still. I always have to be doing something. So this job is perfect because there's so much to do all the fucking time. You know what I'm saying? And even then, during the downtime, there's nothing wrong with some fucking downtime, you know, because there's other shit to do. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing with this job, is that, you know, you're not busting your balls all fucking day. You know, you're not fucking like working hard all 8 hours, like sweating and you know, like construction and working in asphalt and all that shit. Hey man, to any of you guys that do blue collar work and you guys are in those fields, or HVAC, you know, during this time of the year, I know it fucking sucks. It fucking sucks. It's hot. You know what I'm saying? And it's uncomfortable. And you guys work hard all fucking day. But that's why I have a lot of respect for blue collar workers, because you guys fucking put in the fucking work. Now, granted, I don't know if wastewater is a traditionally blue collar work, but it's kind of blue collar adjacent, I guess, if you want to put it that way. I don't know. You know, we're an operator, so it is what it is. But you know, yeah, I mean, I really just wanted to talk about my job, what I'm doing now, how it basically saved me from, you know, the path that I was going down. And like I said, I was very scared to take the job at first. I saw the position open. I wanted to apply, but I was scared because, you know, you get scared whenever you need to make a new move in life and stuff like that. And I applied for the job, and I got interviewed the very next day. I was not expecting a phone call at all. And not, or actually, no, sorry, I got called in to see if I wanted to schedule an interview, and I said yes. And then I went for the interview, and, you know, I was honest. I was like, hey, you know, I'm brand new, but I have a really good work ethic, very hardworking person. I just want to be put in the right environment. I think this is it. And after that, I mean, the rest is history. You know, here I am now. I'm very excited. I just got my grade 4 license recently. And there's gonna be a shit ton of money to be made. But, you know, like me, like I said, I'm a very hardworking person. I have a really good work ethic. I just need to be put in the right environment to be set free and just do the work. And that's what Wastewater has allowed me to do up to this point in my life. Now, granted, I'm over here making this video like if I can, like, you know, like I'm only like 2 to 3 months in, but like it really has saved me from the position that I was in previously. You know, from being unemployed to not having any money to being in debt, having no money in my account. Like beginning of the year was generally bad, but, you know, because of all this shit, I fucking made it. I took the risk I wanted to make a change in my life, and I fucking did it. And here I am now, just reaping the benefits. And, you know, as time goes on, I'm only going to be getting more money. I'm only going to be moving up in positions, etc. And I'm very excited for that. And like I said, I'm very glad that I have a really great staff at my job. You know, the staff and the people there are very supportive. They're very kind. And, you know, I feel like in a way I got lucky. You know, I don't know. You know, I fucking got this opportunity. Like, this job has pension. This job has fucking a lot of good shit. And so I also wanted to talk to people and just kind of advise you guys, like, hey, man, like I said, it's never too late to start over. If you want to look into wastewater, please do. I think it's a very important job for the environment. Also look into water treatment as well. That's different. That's drinking water. That's, you know, these industries are very needed. The trades are never going to go away. So if you are feeling stuck in life and you feel like you need something brand new to get into, please look into the trades. Please know that there's other options besides college and besides white collar work. If you do want to still go to college, I advise it. College is great. I went to college. I have my associates and I have my bachelor's degree. I don't regret college one bit. It's just, like I said, I'm choosing survival and I'm choosing stability versus whatever the fuck is going on now in this current economy. Now, granted, if I had the opportunity to go back to office work, would I? No. But that's just because I found a job that I feel like I wanted to do this for the rest of my life. I want to become a pro at this. I want to become a master. I want to become knowledgeable, and I want to just become a professional in this field. But that's just what it took for me to realize, okay, because I mean, I always wondered, what am I going to be doing for the rest of my life? Like, what is my dream job? You know, and I never saw this as like my dream job or nothing like that. But I'm like, wow, like this is fucking great. You know, I have pension. I have all these great benefits. I have really good coworkers. I have really good pay. I have a really good schedule. There's plenty of time for OT. And there's different shifts available, which is what I like, because I like working night shifts and stuff like that. So, I mean, like I said, overall, all in all, it's just been a really good opportunity. Let me see, I'm looking at my notes here. But generally speaking, yeah, I mean, it's just been a very good experience. I'm definitely gonna edit this video now and see, you know, what I'm gonna be doing next, essentially. You know, for the next video, I might just I plan to talk about some movie stuff. I'm a very big movie person. But my next few videos are definitely gonna be random. They're gonna be all over the place. But this is kind of a more personal, in touch video with myself. This is what I kind of wanted to come back to kind of explain to you guys, like, where I am or where I have been this past month, what I've been doing, why I've been away from YouTube and stuff like that. But like I said, I have a lot of good ideas now and stuff that I want to be doing. I'm not doing YouTube for money. I'm just doing this for myself as a personal diary and just kind of like just to put myself out there. If I blow up, I blow up. If I don't, I don't. You know, I don't really care. I'm doing this for fun. So that's why, like, you know, I'm not trying to pull a Corey Kenshin and kind of just disappear out of nowhere. I love you, Corey Kenshin. I highly doubt you're gonna see this video, but I love you. But, you know, sometimes you be disappearing. I mean, you're gone right now. You're doing your own thing. I love you though. Fuck with you. But you know, I might disappear here, not, you know, here and there. But because I'm working and shit. But don't get me wrong, I'm definitely gonna try to make time for, you know, YouTube and get back to what I was doing before, making weekly uploads and stuff like that. So I'll definitely make this video. You know, I'm making this video right now. I'll probably edit it after this, and then I will go and continue making whatever videos I have, you know, for the next coming weeks or whatever. So, you know, this video is a little bit longer. I might edit some parts out because, you know, I was looking at my notes and that. I might edit some pictures and do my little editing and do what I usually do. So that's pretty much it. That's how Wastewater saved my life. That's where I am right now in my life, and, you know, I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And, you know, yeah, guys, I mean, thank you guys for all the love and support that you guys been showing me while I've been gone. I've been getting a lot of subscribers, a lot of views on my Last of Us short. And if you guys want to see more Last of Us stuff, I definitely have a lot more stuff planned. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna go take this tuxedo off because I am fucking hot. So I will see you guys another time. Peace.